Now, shifting gears for a little bit in the next hour, and we got our next guest coming on. Rawsome Foods, this is an exclusive. James Stewart arrested in $1 million warrant. And I'm ranting here because I'm angry. And just to tell you the story of what happened and what happened to him, here he is joining us, the $1 million thing to release him. They're charging other people now. Natural News reporting on this. Do we have Mike Adams with us as well? Because I'm so wound up, I don't even know here. Okay, let's go to James Stewart. Good to have you on with us, sir. I appreciate your courage to come on and discuss the evil crime of selling raw milk for many years to people, and what a horrible criminal you are. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Alex. You know, I appreciate you and the show, and I know that Mike wanted to be on, but I think he's busy at the moment.
Okay, well, tell us what happened to you. A lot of folks know, a lot of folks don't know about Rawsome Foods and the fact that they're treating you like you're, well, like they should be treating John Corzine.
Well, you know, it's true, but I mean, the same thing is happening now and yesterday, by the way, in Ventura County with, if anybody goes online and reads David Gumpert's blog and Mike Adams' comment last night, it seems as if you can't even, you know, the FDA 2 years ago, just so everybody understands what's going on, they have decided, and it's on record in a court case, that you and I have no right to make any decision what we want to put into our body or our children's bodies, that the FDA has the ultimate authority. And that's where all this is coming from, along with pharmaceutical industry and whoever else. You'll never get to the bottom of it because they won't agree with or let you know what the real truth is. But I love your passion, Alex, and it is true. In August 3rd of last year, after being raided the year before, the year before in 2010, they came in with dozens and dozens of agents, took over the place.
That's the famous video with the guns drawn, and you didn't shut down, so now they're going to try to make you an example, putting you under the jail.
Right. Well, a year later, after that guns drawn raid, they came in and arrested me on 13 charges, and those charges stem basically from raw dairy products. You are correct. And I got out 3 days later, and basically they took a 24-foot stake-side truck, and there are videos on YouTube attesting to this, because all the members of Rawsome were there looking over the fences with their cell phones and video cameras and whatnot. They loaded up this truck with almost every food product that was at Rawsome and took it to a dump in the valley and got rid of it, although next door to us is a place called Bread and Roses, which is a place that feeds the homeless. So instead of taking the $100,000 worth of food they stole and dumped, they could have fed the homeless next door. Meanwhile, the food was gone, and now, let's see, I went to five court appearances. On the fifth appearance, which was March the 2nd, while we were scheduling another date, two sheriffs jumped over the bar and arrested Sharon Palmer and myself in this show of grand force, and and it just was this scene. So we then were put downstairs, and I was put in jail for a week and a day, and Sharon didn't get out for 3 weeks on charges that now there's conspiracy to commit money laundering and grand theft, and you name it, $1 million bails on me.
And what they do is they go to your employees and say, we're going to put you in prison for made-up crimes if you don't lie about your boss. And they can connect it to people that aren't even involved. They'll just go tell a neighbor, we're going to put you in jail if you don't say this. It looks like I have the FBI trying to do that to me right now out of something that I'm not even connected to. Yeah, that's how they work. They just go down the line. Yeah. This is who runs our government. Just absolute evil.
Well, you know, Mike Adams and I have been talking a lot recently, and you know, it's an interesting question, Alex, why people are not aware of what's going on back in the 60s and 70s when it didn't take much time to figure out how to demonstrate for, let's say, a war in Vietnam and get that shut down. I believe people are in fear, harassed, intimidated, living in their comfort little lifestyles, and they don't understand that it's coming to them real soon. And when you see what's really going on, it's not just me. You're right. It's the Amish farmers. It's let me give you the other little example of what happened. You heard about Farm to Fork, right, in Nevada last year?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
People try to have a party and bring their organic food, like the old-fashioned country cookouts. We still have those in East Texas, where everybody, you know, at the end of the summer brings meat, brings food, and now they have this global. This is what Stalin did in Ukraine and other areas, and China. The UN has said use food as a weapon. For those that don't know, they actually come and raid people and dump their potatoes, rutabagas, everything in the trash, acting like it's toxic waste.
On private property. They do this on private property. If you don't believe you're protected, if you're on your own farm or your own house or your own land.
No. That's the rural, that new rural commission that Obama set up, where he admits the Homeland Security and the Pentagon is over all farms.
No, I listened to Sheriff Richard Mack last night on a half-hour show that was on Mike Adams's, or maybe it was on your show, I don't remember. And here's a man that's talking about, you know, sovereignty and all the other stuff. I have to let everybody know that when I was taken this time on March the 2nd and incarcerated for 8 days, I never mentioned the word sovereignty, but let me tell you what happened. Not only downstairs in the holding tank, they started accusing me of being a sovereign, which is now a terrorist word, okay? So what they do immediately is they put you with a different kind of armband. You're a danger to the community, even the community inside the jail system. So they put me in holding cells for minimum 3, 4, 5, 6 hours with basically no warmth. They can learn how to torture you these days without actually physically touching you, and that's what they're planning to do. And they did it to me. I do have to admit, when I was transferred to Ventura, that I was better treated up there. But still, the whole entire system is now, as you know, and I love your passion about it, Alex, is on the verge of, as I guess as many people 200 years ago said, how about Ben Franklin? I gave you a republic if you can keep it. What people need to do is stand up right now. They're not standing up, and I don't understand why. And it's too obvious by listening to people like you and myself and whatnot what's going on. Those that sleep on their rights don't have any. And if we don't stand up as a complete group of people, we have to stop the infighting that's going on, involved ourselves in our own alternative industry. People are fighting amongst themselves. Division is what keeps them from winning. So we all have to join forces with each other. I agree with you, Alex.
Well, you're right. And again, it's the Obama administration establishment of White House Rural Council to strengthen rural communities. And it says in the press release at whitehouse.gov, Homeland Security, Department of Defense, rural spies, commissars, and it's now happening. They're arming all the little agencies. We are the enemy. We don't even really deer hunt, but we have a small area that we lease out of our old ranch / farm in East Texas, and now they have federally controlled game wardens who just show up and treat you like a criminal and demand to come in your cookhouse and get in everybody's face. And it's just government wants you to know we own you. Got it? Now, the way I heard Mike Adams describe this is they kept you in freezing conditions, sewage running in, all of this. And this is what they did to Bradley Manning, which has been admitted to be torture. They call it pain compliance. They break arms and call it pain compliance. I have video of this. This is what America is.
Yeah, I did see some brutality inside there. I was not actually treated brutally as far as being kicked or in some way, shape, or form horribly attacked physically, but they've also learned how to do that in ways in which you're isolated for 6 hours in a cold cell at 50 degrees with nothing warm to keep you warm, so you're freezing with hypothermia. Yeah, they then overflowed the toilets in the area of the jail that I was in, where there were 2 to 3 inches of, I'm not joking, shit and pee floating all the way into the bottom of my cell, so all I could do was stay on the bed. The smell was insane, and they didn't come for 4 hours to clean it up, okay? And then when they do clean it up, they give you the same mop that they're mopping up the shit with to mop up your cell, and that's supposed to keep you nice and sanitary and clean at this point? Obviously, it's a complete joke inside there. There is brutality inside there as well. I did see some guys' heads being smashed up into walls and whatnot.
And let's be clear, these are colleges that create more criminals. We have the biggest crime wave in the world. We have the biggest prison population. The government and banks ship in the drugs publicly. Wells Fargo and others launder it. Don't get in trouble. This is all in our face. And you're selling milk and papayas and things. They're charging you for all of that. Papayas, everything is evil. They're raiding other people now. What are you facing? Because you're facing, I mean, tell folks about the bail, the $1 million, what's happening to you. They want everybody to know you're going to eat GMO and you're going to die of cancer and you're going to love it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, this whole grandstanding event that went on, and then the bails were set at, they're just insane. The idea that I should be $1 million bail, but they trumped up 37 felony counts, and that's why they can justify it. But let me ask you a question. Did John Corazine have any bail? Did the peanut company that sickened 700 people and killed 9?
And, of course, now they're going to go after you after hours of interrogation. They'll claim you lie about something that they'll just twist, or they'll have one of their drug head informants lie about you and say you're, murdering babies.
That is very true, and that's what they do. So you are correct. When people listen to you, they have to understand on the show that you're not exaggerating anymore. This is not exaggeration, folks out there. This is what's really going on now. And people, I'm hoping people aren't viewing this as just entertainment. This is going to come to you soon as well. People need to stand up and do something.
Well, it's already coming to them. The GMO, all of it. Some pediatric cancers are up by 10,000%. I mean, they're murdering our children all around us. FBI agents are going to lose their kids to their shots. They love dying. They love the system. James Stewart's our guest, and you can cover what's happened to him at Infowars.com. You can find out more at naturalnews.com, and we're not exaggerating. It's like the lady who was facing 6 months in jail for a garden in Michigan. People thought that was a joke. They thought the big journals, medical journals, coming out and saying kill children up to age 3 even when they're healthy if the parents or state want to. People are like, this isn't real. Yeah, it's real. Okay? I'm risking my life to bring you this information. This isn't a joke. And if America would just wake up, the criminals in government and corporations who work together couldn't get away with this. And I've seen all the videos. I've read the affidavits. They're all online. I mean, this was a mainline place. I know people in L.A. who drove there and bought stuff. Vegetables, milk, all of it. I mean, this is an above board. It's like the Amish guys selling to people. They call it an undercover year-long operation where the guy's selling to people with undercover folks acting like they're their neighbors, selling them milk. In fact, guys, will you bring me a jug of milk and a glass out of the refrigerator? I'm going to drink some here on air. I gave some to the Austin police chief. Didn't the Austin police chief drink some? Yeah, when I had Art Aceveda in here, my memory fails. Didn't that happen when I had Aceveda in here? I was like, here's raw milk, you going to arrest me? And he thought I was joking. And I said, are you going to have troops on the streets, Art Aceveda? And he said, the sky would literally have to fall for that to happen. And now we have troops at the Kite Festival. Let's go back to our guest and one more segment with him. James, what can we do? What are you facing? Where is this going? How can we help you against the food police?
Well, first of all, I don't understand why there's no pro bono attorneys that, and I won't mention names, that are not trying to come to the aid of whoever out there, myself or anybody else, because it's necessary at this point that the masses stand up and take their power back. They never really lost it in the first place, but people are, it seems to me, afraid to actually stand up, and that's why we have the issue and the problem that we have, Alex. People are not willing to stand up, and I don't mean just regular people. I mean anybody, including the attorneys. Everybody needs to get involved in this and start making sure that it doesn't happen. Put a lot of effort into defending these people, whoever they are, myself or anybody else for that matter. I don't feel like I'm the isolated person out here. I see all the stories all the time that are going on. I'm not going to stop. And and that's just my personality. I feel the only way to change things is to put something into action, and that's what Rawsome was about. Rawsome was putting it into action. Other people intellectualize what they know is going on, but they forget or they're afraid to put something into action to do something about it.
Well, they've shut you down now. They're trying to put you under the jail. Tell folks what you're facing, websites where people can support you.
The charges in both cases now in Ventura and L.A. add up to probably 40 years in jail, which I doubt seriously. But at the same point, that's what they could
Well,
be.
they got juries that would send babies to a gas chamber.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't understand that either, by the way. How can juries be that,
It's gladiatorial. Even though they're going to be destroyed by it next week, they enjoy burning people. It's a demonic nation.
It is crazy, my friend. So they can get in touch with Mike Adams at Natural News if they want to help donate their time, their the financial situation. Mike Adams would take care of it for us.
We're going to be back in 60 seconds, 5 more minutes for you to make any other points you want. James, I know you haven't done any interviews, and I know I appreciate you coming on here. We're dealing with a guy who publicly sold people what we buy right here in Austin, and he's facing 40 years. Coming up in the hour, we're going to have the one, the only, Jim Tucker, and the editor of American Free Press, Mark Anderson, on with us to give you the latest inside scoop on Bilderberg coming up this year. Right now, we're talking to James Stewart of Rawsome Foods there in Southern California. You saw the images of the oranges, of the papayas, the mangoes, the milk, the chicken being thrown in the back of the truck to be taken to the landfill because they dare sell organic food that people grew on their own farms and brought in as a collective to then sell. Because the government has to be over that. The same FDA that raised the level of radiation and said it was safe, just like the EPA did. Oh, radiation level goes up from Fukushima? It's safe. We just said so. DU's safe. But for heaven forbid you drink raw milk. The thing is, this is totally legal. They're now trying to get them on money laundering and stuff, or lying to federal agents is always the same. Like when I had the FBI here one time and they were bringing up other subjects, I said, I can't even talk to you. You'll just say I lied to you. So I just started telling them about their crimes till they left. James, what's the outpouring been like? Because your story's been on the Drudge Report, it's been on the news. I mean, it's been all over. I think it's really woken people up.
Well, I hope so. It wasn't my intention to do that, to wake people up. It was just, a food club that wanted to provide high-quality food. As you mentioned earlier, by the way, Alex, the entire Rawsome Club was basically a membership-only, private membership-only club, and so therefore, the public couldn't come in. I
mean, swingers can go to a private club and have sex with each other, but you can't sell in a private club potatoes.
Exactly, or anything else, especially surrounding raw dairy. Really, that's the crux of it now. But eventually, it'll be something that is a non-GMO product. You got to consume just GMO, and that's it. Rawsome always looked into what the problem with the food was. By the way, let me share you briefly, so most people don't understand this. Words and terms are misleading. The word raw is misleading. The word cold pressed is misleading. Why is it misleading? Because nobody has legally defined these terms. So when you go buy what you think is a raw product or cold pressed oil, it's not. And that's the problem. The problem is anything under pasteurized temperatures is fair game to be called those things, and it's dead food. And yet,
well, that's like calling total GMO natural.
Correct. And so what Rawsome was doing was looking into the source of everything and bringing that information forward and trying to find the highest quality products for everybody.
And you were getting popular, and so they said, just like the Liberty Dollar, which even the Wall Street Journal said it was totally legal to have the Liberty Dollar. It wasn't masquerading as a U.S. currency, and that guy's going to be sentenced soon and sent off down the river. I mean, they're going after everybody.
Yeah, popular is correct. We were becoming very popular, and after the raid of 2010, which is an obvious fact, we became even more popular because they shoot themselves in the foot by attacking everybody, because then people wake up and realize what's going on.
Only got a minute left. I want to have you back up for the full hour soon because you're a really smart guy. And I just want to hear your view on other things, hopefully before they send you off for 40 years we got to pay for in prison. because you sell milk. Never a victim. They're not even saying anybody's hurt. Final statement here, James Stewart.
Alex, I heard you in the beginning of the show talk about food and what's missing in our food. Everybody needs to understand, you can eat 75% less food if it's high-density quality food, and minerals is the main key. All I really ever wanted to do was provide information for people about what the highest quality food is. Ask yourself the question, what's the purpose of eating or drinking anything other than the taste, the smell, the ambiance, the fun of eating it? It's getting nutrients or nutrition out of the food. This is food. Why are they after people who are providing high-quality food? Because they don't want you to be well.
Let's get you back up sometime next week for a full hour to take phone calls if you can. James, God bless you. We're going to find out more next week on what you're facing. Thank you so much.
Come, Alex.
All right, there we go. Set him up for next week, please. If you believe in this information and want to support its viral spread, go to the InfoWars store at InfoWars.com. We've got the new G.I. Joe InfoWars t-shirts. We've got the incredible Pro Pure gravity-fed filters available at InfoWars.com in the store. We've got a new DVD, Scientists Under Attack, the Don't Tread on Me flag. We've got all sorts of different bumper stickers to help spread the rebellion virally. It's all there, wristbands, citizen rule books in every order. Order online at InfoWars.com today. The water filters, the canteens, it's all there. InfoWars.com.